daughter yesterday, and it's been a real labour, this story, to bring it to you. Months of work, hours of meeting victims, and some, well, frankly, incredibly graphic accounts. We can now tell you the Conservative MP is taking the results of our BBC Hereford and Worcester investigation over fresh claims of child abuse within the Jehovah's Witness organisation to Parliament.
Yesterday we revealed fears that the Church's own rules are protecting perpetrators, with one top child abuse lawyer comparing it to the scandal in the Catholic Church. One woman from Worcestershire, who wished to remain anonymous, has come forward to speak for the first time about her experiences within a family of Jehovah's Witnesses. She says she wants a proper apology from the organisation compared to the response when she was a child.
My parents wrote to one of the governing bodies within the organisation and said, "Is this right? Could we do anything else?" And they got a letter back which just said they abhor child abuse and they do their utmost to protect young ones in the congregation. But in this case, they'll have to leave it in Jehovah's hands. Jehovah sees all and everything's fine, don't worry. That seemed to make my parents fairly content and nothing happened subsequently.
What do you think needs to be done now?
They need to get rid of the two-witness rule, and actually that wouldn't be that difficult for them to do because the Jehovah's Witnesses quite regularly change their policies. They could go straight to the police. They could actually say, well, we don't talk about this to you or the accused, we're just going to hand it over to the police. And also I think they need to apologise and say, we got it wrong. I think that would actually mean a huge amount to all the victims.
The Charity Commission has launched an inquiry into this, and now the MP for Cheltenham, Alex Chalk, is going to be raising questions about this in Parliament. Let's talk to Mark and Cora Latham, husband and wife, both former Jehovah's Witnesses. They live just down the road in Cheltenham. They've been campaigning on this issue. Good morning, both.
Hello.
Good morning. Mark, what are your concerns then? What's troubling you most about all of this?
I think if, where to start? For me, one of the central issues surrounding this is the two-witness rule. And as your previous callers eloquently described, you do have a situation where they do have a biblical stance on this, and that if individuals come before the clergy class, which is the elders, to bring forward an allegation of molestation or rape of in particular of children, the elders will automatically go straight into biblical mindset and look at this from a sinful point of view and describe it to themselves with the strict instructions that they've been given from Bethel. Are there two witnesses to this event? And of course, as we know, the very nature of this type of horrendous crime that happens to children, there are no second witnesses.
So if there isn't a second witness, basically there isn't a second witness, it couldn't have happened. And with the line we kept hearing yesterday was that Jehovah will take care of it.
He will take care of it. Trust in Jehovah. Leave it with him. And we don't want to cause any destruction within the congregation. We don't want any divisive allegations being brought out publicly. So this needs to be kept very quiet. It's all done right the way down. And but then a very tight grip is kept on this from the headquarters in London, who will then strictly go through a set of instructions with that body of elders, those that have been given the information as to exactly what to do next, which in most cases, according to all of the criminal cases that we've had going through the courts, nothing happens, absolutely nothing, unless the individual decides to actually push this forward themselves.
Cora, how many cases have you actually seen go to court then, and what needs to change?
Well, we've not seen that many go to court in this country. Unfortunately, what tends to happen is that the Watchtower gets there first and tends to squash these cases before they actually reach the public ears. There's one that went through the High Courts last year, which was actually the first case that ever reached the High Court here in the UK. And there are a few others that are going through at this very moment. We've seen recently the cases in Australia, which came to light just because a couple of victims decided that they weren't going to take no for an answer and took it all the way through, and the Royal Australia Commission took it up. And as a result of that, many cases were exposed where there was 106 paedophiles. Obviously, many of them have 1,006 paedophiles that were uncovered, which had obviously multiple victims, and that's in Australia, where there's a very much smaller amount of Jehovah's Witnesses in that country compared to here in the UK.
Now, Cora, I'm going to have to put this because it's a fair point, isn't it? You're both ex-Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
You're no longer part of the organisation, and many people, some people, have been saying that you have an axe to grind and you're making it your mission to give the organisation a bad name. What do you say to them?
Not at all. I think anybody who says that they have to stand back and say, well, would they stand by and watch all of this just go uncovered and unexposed and not stand by and just stand by and not say anything? When it comes to child molestation, whether you have issues or not, with any organisation, I think that if you were to stand by and sit by and not say anything, then you have to look at yourself very closely. We have no axe to grind at all when it comes to the organisation. We found all of this out once we started to look into things when we left. We knew nothing. When we were Jehovah's Witnesses, we knew nothing about the cover-up of paedophilia within the organisation. And I think that's one of the main things. You're completely blinded to this when you are a Jehovah's Witness.
Well, it's going to be raised in Parliament by Cheltenham MP Alex Chalk. What do you want him to say? What do you want him to achieve by doing that?
I think what we're looking for is that we are looking at a serious attempt to make sure that the historical child sexual abuse inquiry that's taking place at the moment, we want the Watchtower to be given some serious consideration to be in that investigation, to look at exactly what it is that they do in regards to their child safeguarding policy here in the United Kingdom. And it has to be brought up. It will be an absolute travesty if the inquiry goes ahead and the Jehovah's Witnesses are not included with serious work and examination of exactly what it is that they do above and beyond what they're supposed to be doing for their child safeguarding policy. You see, the child safeguarding policy, if you go to a Kingdom Hall and ask for it, you won't get one. There isn't one there. It's very, very rare for any Jehovah's Witness to actually get hold of a copy of their child safeguarding policy. And when you do get hold of it, it's actually full of waffle. There's nothing in there that actually indicates how a child should be protected properly by the organisation that are looking after those particular congregants.
Mark, thank you very much for talking to us this morning. Mark and Cora Latham, husband and wife, and ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. As we said, we've obviously asked the Watchtower, that's the UK's headquarters of the Jehovah's Witness organisation, to come on and talk to us and put their side of the story. They haven't put anyone up for interview. Instead, they've given us a statement saying Jehovah's Witnesses abhor child abuse. They do not shield abusers from the authorities or from the consequences of their actions. Obviously, lots more to come on that story in the coming days.